This is Daniel. Today I'm gonna talk with you about marketing and how the marketing work for home service businesses. I'm here in my yard. I hope this video helps anyone who's interested in home service business and marketing and so on. What we're gonna start with, we'll cover 4 core marketing channels: budget allocation, lead tracking, lead cycle, seasonality, and reporting system that keeps everything on track. We wanna make sure that your marketing system can tell you exactly how much to spend, where to spend, and how to track results and when to make a decision. So it's basically an automated system that give to someone, maybe to your employees, and they can use this for your company and make you money. All right, so let's start. So we divide the marketing in 4 channels in general. So there's gonna be direct outreach, paid advertising, affiliates, and social media. Okay, so there's 4 channels. Direct outreach, this includes direct mail campaigns, door hangers, bandit signs, and no other form of direct advertising. The second one will be paid marketing. So that includes Facebook ads, Google guaranteed, Google pay-per-click, Google Maps, Google SEO, Yelp, and lead providers. Okay, so this is more like an ads that you buy on the internet. This is the second category. The category number 3 would be affiliates. So this is strategic partner who refer their business to our company. Okay, so you can imagine like realtors, storage unit facilities, assisted living facilities, apartment managers, and other businesses that regularly interact with people who need your services. In our example, that would be moving services. The 4th channel would be social media. This includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google My Business, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other platforms that can build awareness and trust. So you have together 4 channels. You can create diversified marketing agent that doesn't rely on a single source of leads. A lot of times you can hear people, all these gurus would be saying you need to pick one marketing channel, but for local service business it's pretty difficult to do. Just pick one marketing channel because it's usually not enough jobs in this radius. Let's go to the next one. How would you determine how much to spend on marketing? The most important rules you want to see is the industry standard. You can go on the other AI platforms and ask what's your industry standard. In my industry, usually in the moving is about 10% of spending. So if I want to consistently get jobs, I will spend around 10% on marketing from the gross sales of the previous month. So let's say in September I got $100,000. In October I'm gonna have to spend $10,000 on marketing. If I want to grow, I may change this a little bit, maybe bump it up, but usually the good rule of thumb would be 10% of the budget. Also, it varies from business to business. Let's say some business can be 5%, some business can be 15%, but usually you want to know your budget. All right, so let's go to the next one. Split budget by performance. So once the total budget is established, we distribute it based on performance. So the formula is simple. The channel's share of a budget equals the revenue generated by the channel divided by total company revenue. So for this example, let's say if the total revenue was 100,000 and your any one marketing source, let's say it was a Google guaranteed, bring you $30,000 of that revenue, that Google guaranteed, for example, produced you 30% of that revenues. All right, so let's talk about lead source tracking. The marketing decisions are only good as the data behind them. So if you have incorrect numbers in your marketing report, if you do not exactly know where leads are coming from and all your jobs are booked are coming from, it's going to be very difficult for you to make a right decision or on what to do with the marketing. We use different tactics like setting up separate phone numbers, using pixels, UTM parameters, and all that technical stuff that you can use to get the right information. But as a good rule, you need to know where is the 90% of revenue coming from, for sure, because sometimes with a smaller business, like let's say 250,000 to maybe $1 million per year, you're going to see that a lot of people just be asking, hey, where you calling us from? And they will hear Google, and then they just put in Google, and you have 90% of leads coming from Google, and people really don't explain how do they hear about you. Once you're done and get the correct report, where is your revenue coming from which marketing source, now you want to understand the cash conversion cycle, or how we call it, lead cycle, right? Usually in home service business is 30 to 60 days lead cycle. So that means you go and spend money on ads, and then in 30 to 60 days you collect the cash from the customer. Okay, so this is very important. Obviously you want to adjust it based on your industry, but because of this you cannot make a decision based on 1 month of your marketing report. So even if you determine how much you spend on certain lead provider. Like, let's say you spend $10,000 on Facebook, and then you determine that you booked. Moving industry, this cycle is between 30 to 60 days. For example, you may spend $100 on advertising today and then not to collect $1,000 until 2 months from now. So that means that return on your marketing investment often appears well after the money was spent. So that means that you cannot make a decision based on just 30 days of working for a certain marketing source. You have to do it minimum on 3 months, which is 90 days. You cannot make a decision if you turn off or increase the budget for Facebook unless you check it for 3 months. About adjustment for seasonality and capacity. So also here you will have different marketing sources. You're going to see some marketing sources will bring you a lot of work, but they're going to be on the busy days when you already slammed to the brim. Adjust for seasonality and capacity. So marketing isn't just about generating leads, it's about generating leads that you can actually service. So let's say one marketing source would consistently bring you leads, but for the same day, and then you have only limited amount of trucks or workers for that same day. So it's very busy. So now if you service those jobs, you may have issues with the clients, they may complain, you may not be able to find any movers or workers or trucks for that matter. So very important, after you check that this marketing source has a good ROI, check for which date is this ROI coming from, and what if there is any issues with servicing with this marketing source. Because we had one marketing source, for example, that brought us $5,000 a month without spending anything. So it was a Google Maps, I would think. And then we noticed that that marketing source had 50% claim rate. So every second job that we do there had a claim. So that means that people would be calling us like a last resort, like something. So we decided to turn off that marketing source just because in the end of the day, it was not profitable to do those jobs. Once you check all your sources for 3 months or 90 days minimum, once you check all your marketing sources for profitability, now you want to assign the number to each marketing source and you want to load the boat. So Google gets a budget, Facebook gets a budget, social media gets a budget, direct mail gets a budget, and so on. And every dollar has a destination before the month begins. Okay, so now you want to make sure that you assign money to this marketing spend, and after you assign that, you want to be tracking it once every week. Make sure that you're spending enough money, because sometimes you'll be assigning money to this marketing source, like let's say put it on Google, but your card is not working, it's not charging for some reason, maybe your account blocked, maybe something went wrong. So you also want to make sure that you tracking every week that you receive enough leads, that everything working well. This, you want to build marketing around 4 core channels, set up your budget at the percentage that serves your goals. Now you want to allocate spending based on performance. After that, you want to track at least 90% of your lead sources. So that means you want to make sure 90% of your jobs, you know where they're coming from. You want to understand the lead cycle, which means you don't want to make a decision too early. Never judge marketing based on 1 month. You want to evaluate channels quarterly. You want to align marketing with operational capacity. So you want to make sure that all your marketing efforts are profitable, that you make money actually from all this marketing and from all these jobs you complete. You want to fill slow days first and monitor performance weekly. All right, so when this principle work together, marketing becomes a predictable system rather than a guessing game. So you don't have to guess this no more. This is the complete strategy, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day. Take care.